A new Super Meat Boy game wasn't on my bingo card prior to this year, let alone a full-fledged reboot in 3D. And I'm certainly not complaining. Outside of your occasional Mario and Sonic game, the genre didn't have it easy for quite a while now. Currently, 3D platformers seem to gain a little momentum again, thanks to hits like Donkey Kong on Switch 2 and Astro Bot on PS5, which makes this a perfect opportunity to also push something like Super Meat Boy. Especially since this game doesn't just feel like a Mario ripoff, but very much a unique addition to the genre. Few platformers have ever tried to translate Meat Boy's formula into the third dimension, meaning very small but challenging platforming rooms all about fast-paced trial and error. Meticulous obstacles will destroy the title character for even the smallest mistake. And other than your jumping skills, there are no power-ups or aiding systems at your disposal. The rapid movement through the obstacle courses and over numerous walls and death pits feels just as natural as in 2D. I've played the original game in preparation, and Meat Boy 3D basically feels like a straight continuation, which requires almost no adjustments to the new visual complexity. Because not only did they capture the fine movement and precise input commands of before, they also ensured that the camera is smart enough not to cause any trouble, which would be detrimental in a game as hard as this, and cause frustration if mistakes felt like the game's fault. Meat Boy was never about exploring, so fixed camera angles keep the focus where it belongs, which is the character. When Meat Boy slips behind a wall or obstacle, the game reacts accordingly and either makes some parts of the environment invisible or shows Meat Boy's silhouette with a striking color. Like in Crash Bandicoot 4, the shadow has an orange ring marker too. That makes it much easier to orient yourself in the surroundings. The only minor hiccup was that in some of the bigger, sometimes vertical stages, it took a few seconds to see where the main path continues. But that wasn't a major hindrance or anything. Now, I was a little flabbergasted by a drastic difficulty spike after a few levels, which became way longer and more complex quickly, but because the stages were pretty different stylistically, ranging from forests to sewers, I'll just assume that the demo didn't present them in the same order as the final game, and that they wanted to show off as many backdrops as possible. Which would also mean that you'll learn all the necessary moves for all the levels straight from the start, meaning jumping, dashing and wall jumping, plus a single new mid-air dash. And that's fine by me. We've got the return of some classic hardcore side-scrollers this year, which were very fine games, but despite the retro look, some of them went overboard with modern mechanics. Shinobi in particular feels more like a Devil May Cry clone mixed with Hollow Knight. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound was a little more old school, but even that game couldn't resist to implement a few distractive gimmicks. So I'm looking forward to a platformer all focused on jumping dexterity without any fluff, just like back in the day. As a side note, the only thing that slightly put me off is the 3D rendition of the villain. This fetus guy just looks way too disgusting. Not even in a funny way, but just weirdly gross. But apart from that, it's very clean, colorful, and looks pretty much as good as a Super Meat Boy game could look. I've only played like a dozen of levels, which isn't too much in the realm of Meat Boy, but overall, I'm confident not much can go wrong here. It looks good, it controls tight, and the levels feel intuitive.